Hello there. Today's Father's Day here in Costa Rica. So I want to say to all of you out there who actually deserve this, happy Father's Day. I wanted today's message to be pretty short but meaningful, and it goes to all those co-parents out there. Enough people have probably already said it to you, but some of them, probably said it without really meaning it. Some of them did mean it. And from my heart to yours, I say happy Father's Day to those of you that actually deserve it. The biggest problem in our society is arguably the absence of God, but I'd say that a very close second is the absence of parents in homes. Ecclesiastes 4:12 says, "And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken." That speaks to the fact that being united, and in this case I'm talking specifically with a woman, makes your relationship and your ability to withstand that much stronger. This also goes for children in your relationship. Children plus mother plus father makes for a much tougher bond to break. I have to say how brave are the women that carry their children alone. But if we consider that it takes two people to have a child, we always have to bear in mind that for those of you that are thinking about birth controlling, the best way to birth control is abstinence. That might be a bit controversial to what the society tells you nowadays, but it's a fact. If you want to have children, I suggest you wait until you're married. If you don't want to have children but you want to have relations, you're exposing yourself to unwanted children, which is a sad thing. Since the beginning of time, I have to say that men have been societally indoctrinated, and that one of the hallmarks of success is actually how many women you can be with. It is a pretty misogynistic way of indoctrinating us, but it has happened. As a matter of fact, when I was little, adults would come up to me and tell my mom, "Oh, he has such beautiful eyes. He must have a lot of girlfriends at school." They probably not knowingly, but unwillingly, or maybe even willingly sometimes, are putting into my subconsciousness and that of other children that they tell this to, that it is perfectly normal to have a lot of girlfriends. I'm not using that as an excuse. That's not probably what made me want to be with a lot of women. That's something that I used to do, and I have repented of it, and I have asked God to forgive me for it. But it is something that does have an impact. Ever since you are children, a child, they're bombarding you with this kind of stuff. They also are imposing a particularly hard goal to reach, and it is that it is painfully hard for some people, which find it really, really hard to find companionship. I'm talking specifically when it comes to attraction. Some people do not have an easy time getting companions in their life, and that makes it very tough for them to feel that they're being told this and that they don't even have the capability of being with anyone. In 1 Corinthians 7:2 it says, "Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband." This is not a plural, it is singular, and that is there for a reason. God never intended sexual relations to be with a lot of people. It was always meant to be with one man and one woman under matrimony. I think it's great that young people get to know each other, they get to have fun, men with women, that they enjoy their jokes, they enjoy their time. But it's very sad that from adolescence and onwards, the concept of any kind of friendship becomes immediately sexualized by society. And added to that, you have the set of confusing and accelerated hormones that they're having to go through. It makes it for an extremely hard time for them. Our young people are suffering this ever since they get to watch their TV shows, they get to watch their cartoons, whatever they're watching, they're already being indoctrinated into how it is perfectly normal to be having sexual relations with people, as if it were shaking hands or as if it were something so basic, when it is not. It is a piece of their heart that's being left with that other person, and they're being used and they're using others. It's not appropriate at all. On my feeds on various social media platforms, I've seen videos of supposed alpha men. They keep coming up. They're advising those that they call betas on how they can become alphas themselves. And I've seen these supposed alphas boast about being able to make women do whatever they want, however they want it, whenever they want it. They actually have this kind of numerical scale in which they will place women anywhere from 1 to 10. And they'll say, oh, this one is a 10, this one is a 5, this one is a 3, just based on the way they look. so superficial, so not right, and they're treating women like cattle. I've seen this same kind of numerical scale in the farmlands where they will go ahead and they'll rate their cattle and say, okay, this cow is actually a 10. We can sell it for much more than this cow, which is a 5. Is that how we want to treat women? If you have daughters, if you have a mom, which everyone does, if you have any woman in your life that you love and cherish, how can you treat women like that, like cattle? They're actually saying that they're alpha because they get to use women or just exploit them for moments of pleasure and squeeze all the good times out of them and then just deliberately dispose of them, and then they boast and say that's what makes them alpha. It's so very ungentlemanly. Now these men, I've seen them, I know several of them in my life. They go to the gym, they spend a few hours with of real effort, and then they will inject themselves with dubious substances, and of course their bodies, they look sculpted like by the hands of the gods. Pretty much they look beautiful, no one can deny that. I also know other men that they have their bank accounts, they're about to explode with so much cash in them, or they have the credit to make it appear like it is, and it's so attractive to women in a very very worldly sense. That is, sadly, when you see this, they get with this man thinking that they are achieving something that's actually valuable, and all they do is bring children that don't have a fatherly figure in their lives. They get disposed off by this man. Consequently, when a woman is disposed of, so is the child. There's no way around it. And then you will actually see that with the supposed women's liberation movement, women are told that they should be just as or even more promiscuous than men have ever been in history. They're making it so easy for this supposed alpha man to get women. And at the same time, they newsflash. I mean, these men are not the ones that are going to have to carry a baby for 9 months. They're not the ones that are going to have to raise them for the rest of your lives. And just like that, they disappear. These men do. And hopefully they will at least pay a monthly amount. And even like that, it's just like if it were rent. Like if they were renting your children, they pay rent like they do on a house or a vehicle. Is that what you want your children to be treated as? I mean, and that's if you're lucky enough to get a limony, because most of the time they're so cheap that they don't even do this. They don't even give money for the children that they brought into this world. They're so disgusting to me. Sexual relations are one of the most beautiful things that God created for us. He knew that it was pleasurable. He knew that it was good for us. He knew that we would enjoy it. The problem is that they have distorted this to the point that they no longer even try to promote them as being between a man and a woman in matrimony. They're telling you, oh, you have to enjoy yourself with as many men or women as you can before you get married, because once you get married, you cannot have it anymore. And once you get married, it's only going to be one for the rest of your life. And then if you get married, how are you going to know if you enjoy it with that person or not if you haven't tested it with several other people? Really? I mean, it's not pizza. It's not a restaurant. You don't have to test a bunch of them to know what you're going to have. If you're truly in love with a person and you truly want to love that person the way Jesus intended matrimony to be, then it doesn't matter. You will enjoy this as much as possible with that person. It says in Ecclesiastes 4:10, for if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow, but woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up. That's true. When I fall, my wife picks me up. When she falls, I pick her up. Because we're one and the same. We're married. We love each other. Is that true of this supposed alpha male abandoning women? It's not the case. As I told you, I know so many of them. Personally known. They call themselves alpha. To me, they're not alphas at all. They weren't even capable of taking responsibility of their own children, because they say, oh, I'm not prepared to take on that role of being married and being responsible for that one woman. Well, you were responsible enough to get the fun part, and now you're not responsible enough to take care of the part that you don't like. That's not alpha at all. That's so beta of you. Now, when these children are born to these women, sometimes women will take care of them. Sometimes, and most of the times, it will be their grandparents. That's the case over here in Latino countries. That's how it works. You see children being raised by grandparents instead of their parents. Now, the supposed men will visit them one day, a couple of days of the weekend, sometimes a couple of days during the week, and yet they deceive themselves. They call themselves present. I'm here for you. Are you? I'm sorry, but a present dad is there for their children and accompanies them and guides them. And whenever they cry, they have a father to cry with. They are there for their parents are there to tell them the answers, why they don't understand why life is so hard, life is so difficult. Well, your parent is supposed to be there to guide you and tell you why. They're supposed to give you a hug, to give you advice every time you need it, at any time during the day. But not these parents. No, they're there sometimes to take their pictures for their feeds, for their Instagram, for their Facebook, to look manly and to say how good of a parent they are because they bought a birthday present for their children. I say to that, wow, you're so good. Come on, it's ridiculous. As for women raising a child alone, I have to say it's admirable. I admonish you, you're doing great. There may still be a good man out there for you. And I'm telling you this, if you're a Christian woman that has committed the mistake with a man in your past and now you're raising a child on your own, there may still be a good man out there for you, but you have to know where to look for him. It's not in bars, it's not it's not in the world. You have to look for a godly man that also, like you, believes in Jesus. And for those men out there that treat women that have had children as if they were lesser in any way, now, come on. God himself adopted us as his children, us sinners. There's nothing beta about God, and he took us in. If God can do it, you can do it. And I'm not saying this for you to go up and just get married with whatever woman out there has as many children as she has. I'm telling you, you also, like I told the woman, you have to know where to look. You have to know to look for women that are actually worth it. But yes, those children need as much love as any other child out there does. And their parents sadly disposed of them because they think they're so alpha that they still need to be hanging around with other women. Ridiculous. So I just want to send this rather blunt message to some of you out there. This isn't an exhaustive talk covering all possible exceptions. I know there's a lot of cases where women and men cannot be together for X or Y reason. But I'm talking specifically to those supposed alpha chats out there who are not alpha chats at all. It's just a pattern that's very visible to me, especially in Latino countries. It's getting out of hand. The absence of father causes a lot of pain and social problems. There's no way around it. With that in mind, I wish a happy Father's Day to those who actually deserve it, and to those who have not taken responsibility and live to this day like soulless dogs. I mean, you yourself call yourself alpha. That's an animal thing to be an alpha. If you yourself call yourself that, then I'm going to treat you like the animals you are and tell you this. What are you waiting for to become responsible and take care of your children, to become true alphas, and to actually deserve being called a father? It's not that you just bring them into the world. Anyone can do that. It's simple. Taking care of them, bringing them up, being there for them. And that's what a father does. I close with several verses that tell us what God himself considers a good father. And those are going to be Proverbs 22:6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 29:15 says, the rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mothers to shame. Ephesians 6:4, and ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Proverbs 3:11-12, my son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as the Father, the Son, in whom he delighteth. I really hope that this message reaches you with the right approach. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but if it does, I'm sorry. It simply has to be said. You're no alpha at all if you abandon your children. With that in mind, I send you blessings with a hug.